Peace, y'all. Before we get started, I felt compelled to remind everyone to stay safe and stay abreast of all the atrocities happening around the world. The people of Palestine, Tigray, Congo, Sudan, Haiti, and countless other territories are currently fighting for their rights and their lives. And if you're choosing to take action, please take every precaution you can. Stay hydrated, stay in groups, cover your face, and please, more than anything, don't lose hope. I've been leaving links to organizations and resources at the bottom of every episode description for a good minute, so please go check those out for places to donate and to find ways to take action today. We're not free until all oppressed people in the States and abroad are free. Much love, stay strong, and stay dangerous. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New York singer-songwriter Yolanda Watson. We spoke about Good Time, the Friday series, the work of Denzel Washington, Yolanda's current favorite books, leaving the world of publishing to pursue music, the difference between recording a song and playing it live, bringing disparate influences together to create with producer BeatsGotDan, singing background vocals for Armand We Buy Diabetic test strips, and the creative process behind their debut EP Soda and their latest single Caca. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. It's really the afternoon, but it feels like it's morning. It feels like it's 6 a.m. for some reason. It might be because I woke up at 6 a.m. to take my sister to work. I love you, Joe, but I'm tired. My name is Dylan Green, CineMasai. I got a lot of names, do a lot of shit. I'm all over the place, and I'm with somebody else who's also all over the place. And now that I think about it, we actually met at a show, which is super duper funny. But this person is somebody that I've only, admittedly, I've only been hip to for maybe about 4 or 5 months at this point, maybe even less than that. But seeing them live was kind of like really mind-boggling to me. But anyway, New York's finest singer-songwriter, very nice robe wearer person, Yolanda Watson is here.
Yes, robes. I have so many.
See, but I used to collect, or I didn't used to collect robes. I used to have a bathrobe. I don't wear bathrobes anymore. So it always.
My grams gave me this one. It has little monkeys on it.
Oh yeah, that's adorable. I love it.
Thanks.
But yeah, Yolanda, thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot. I'm just very excited to talk all things Yali with you. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, we're both still kind of like we're both still kind of in like post morning funk, but we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be cute. So first question I ask everybody who comes on here, what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Okay, so I have been watching Good Times. It's
like
been
the old show?
Yeah, from the 70s. It's on Peacock, and Peacock is the only like service that I have right now. So I've been just like seeing what they got. And they also have The Office, which is, but yes, I've been watching Good Times. It's been my comfort show, and I definitely have strong opinions about it. I've been enjoying it, but I've also been just like dissecting it. I feel like that show has so much like signifying going on, and like the more I learn about the writers and actors, the more I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so that's the thing I've been watching. I haven't been watching a lot of things, mainly like reading my little books and stuff. Because watching stuff can be a little bit too overstimulating for me sometimes. So reading is a little slower pace. I can have a little bit more control that way. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean,
before we get to that, because I actually do want to know about what you're reading, but I'm so curious to like hear what you've learned about Good Times, and like A, how far into the show are you? B, who's your favorite character? C, what have you learned about the show?
Okay. How far am I now? I think I'm on the second season, so not that far in. I started from the top because, like, as a kid, I would see it on. I didn't like actively watch it. Favorite character? I love little. I think his name is Michael, the little one, the youngest son. Just because he's the militant in the family, and that's often how I feel in my family. I'm like the the militant saying wild shit that's not really wild shit because it's true shit, like.
Yeah.
But so I feel like, yeah, his character speaks to me, but also they all do in different ways. The mom, and just how she's like, I don't know. Her work just seems so like she'd really be fighting to keep the dad in good spirits, I guess, as he navigates the fucked up systems, the workforce, and his past and stuff. So I don't know. It's so much to love about the characters because they're all just like on their own different paths of trying to understand their blackness and also how their blackness kind of engages with the world in a sense. I don't really know exactly how to put it into words, but they show it on the screen really well because everybody's so different.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the mom is Florida Evans, right? I got
Florida
that.
Evans,
Yeah, okay. Just making
yes.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Just making sure. See,
Yeah.
I've seen my share of Good Times. I haven't watched a bunch of it, but I've seen enough to like know the show and know the
Okay.
characters, and like, you know, it's just one of those. It's just like I remember the first time I heard the theme song, and it's just, you know, it's like one of those for like, I feel
Yeah.
like for us, you know, for like Black folks, like that's just like, even if you've never seen an episode of Good Times, like you probably know the theme song, you've heard it somewhere. Like you know, you've at the very least seen the Florida Evans like meme or heard a joke, and of course everybody knows Jimmy J.J. Walker, you know,
Yeah.
Dynamite, all that shit. So, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Even his character, I'm like seeing him in a different light now too. Cause I'm like, okay, he like the jokiness is, yes, it's highlighted and it's loud, but there's also a little bit of a rebellious, he got something going on there. And even the fact that he's an artist, I think is really cool. Cause I remember as a kid, I didn't gather that. Like I didn't peep that he was, I don't know why. I just didn't never notice it. I just thought he was, hey, look at this little funny guy on screen as a kid.
right.
But now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? So it's really cool.
Before we move on to the books, have you seen or heard of because they Netflix just put out an animated reboot of Good Times.
Child, listen.
So yeah, I haven't watched any of it. It looked terrible. I'm sorry. It looked fucking awful, but
I'm with you. I saw the preview on Twitter. Like it came across. I was like, y'all could keep it. I'm gonna go ahead and watch my little 1970s.
Yeah, man. Like I'm still just like I'm just still blown. Like I'm still thinking about it. Like who asked for, you know, like I know we're just I know we're in an era where like everybody like anything that's an IP is considered safe, and people just want to like, people don't want to take risks. They want to make the stuff that they're guaranteed is going to get them their money back, whatever. But like, who in their right mind asked for a Good Times reboot? Like I don't understand who wanted that, who needed that. Like, you know, it's just like there is something, because like I'm not like anti reboot. Like I think there's certain movies and TV shows that could work in a modern context that I think deserve to be brought back, but like that wasn't one of them. Like why that one? You know, like the original show is fine as it is. So
yeah, and it still holds up. I think even it's really interesting how it's like, even watching it today, I'm like, nah, this is holding up in some very interesting ways still. So
That's cool. Like what?
Just okay. So I would say on a class, on the level of class, race, there's a lot of things I'm like, yeah, like I'm connecting to my own life and experience growing up poor and Black in America. I'm not from Chicago, I'm from New York, but like still city. And there's so many things I'm like seeing in the show, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember dealing with this as a kid, and like even kind of gathering more understanding of some experiences I had growing up from watching the show that I didn't even put together. Like watching the dad struggle to find a job because he doesn't have, I think he has maybe like a third grade or elementary level education. Like I grew up with a mom who did not graduate from high school, and so her finding a job was often difficult. And as a child, I was kind of confused. I'm like, my mom is like, she could do this shit. Like, why is this so? And then later on, I learned like, oh, because she has certain learning disabilities that make it hard for her to like navigate paperwork and this, that, and third. So yeah, just seeing that, it's just I guess the word might be like validating, but I don't know if it's validating. It's just more like eye-opening and connecting dots and making things make a little bit more sense or whatever.
Totally. And then on top of that, all those themes are so timeless, you know, like it's like I'm about to make a really big leap here, but like I think about it in the same way that like there are just certain things like in the world of rap music that people are like, oh, why are we still talking about X, Y, and Z? And it's like because X, Y, and Z are like still affecting people.
Yes.
You know, like, this is like stuff that people still go through. So of course people are still gonna talk about it. And but like I feel like Good Times. I mean, like it's like funny and heartwarming, but like that template that the show created is just like, you know, like you can be like, oh, I see that immediately, you know?
Yeah.
Like you know, like I grew up in the burbs. I grew up in Jersey, but a lot of my family lives out in the city, like across Queens and Brooklyn, like in like all sorts of different financial situations. So I've seen my fair share of like every side of the nice and the not so nice. And it's, you know, like just like seeing that dichotomy play out on shows in like thoughtful and funny ways. I don't know. It just always really touches my heart, and it's and it reminds me. Earlier this year, my partner and I we watched a good chunk of 227. You ever watch 227?
No, but it's kind of rings a bell. What is this?
So like I had never seen it either for some reason. I don't know how I'd never seen it either. So 227, I think it takes place in DC. It's about it's about like a Black family. They got to be like middle class or like upper middle class, something like that. Like they live in this apartment building, and I think it's either their room is 227 or the building itself is like the address is 227, whatever the street they live on. And it's just a show about these like middle class, upper middle class Black folks who I think like the dad works at what does the dad do? I think he works at some factory or something, and and it's just like about their lives. It's like a husband and wife. They have a kid. They have like a wacky next door neighbor who's like a single lady who's always like looking for always looking for a man. I think they have an elderly neighbor lady who like you know, like it's one of those. It's
okay.
Like it's like really similar to Good Times, except like there's a pretty distinct class separation between the 227 family and the family on Good Times. But like but it plays around with a lot of the same themes, and it kind of comes, you know, like it comes at it from a different perspective. And like I said, I didn't grow up watching it. I think I had tweeted like earlier this year, like, hey, I just found this show called 227, and a bunch of people were like, oh wow, I used to love this show, like welcome to finding it. And some people were like, you've never heard of 227? Like you know, it was like, you know, it's just always interesting to, I mean, like as Black folks, it's just always nice to talk to Black folks about like stuff that, you know, like there's certain like Black classics that I've watched that other Black folks haven't seen. you
Yeah.
know, and like I'm just always interested in that. I'm always, whether that's movies or TV or whatever, I'm always
Yeah.
interested in that intersection, you know, just like swapping. Like I said, I'd never heard of it, and we just started watching it. We made it through like at least the first like 4 seasons. It's great. I love it.
Yes. Okay, I need to check that out. Yeah, there's so many like classic iconic Black movies that I have not seen. I get so much shit for it. But like it's either I haven't seen it or I don't remember. Cause I grew up, my mom, she loves watching movies. We grew up watching horror movies. She loves horror movies, comedies.
Yeah.
Like the movie I remember growing up, like I would say it's kind of classic. All About the Benjamins, because my mom
Yeah.
that movie. I'm like, I've seen that, but like the Fridays, I don't think I've seen all the Fridays. Like, and that's always the thing. People are like, you ain't seen the Friday. I was like, I remember the dog and like No More Locked Doors, but like I don't remember that much of the movie.
Have you seen? So you've seen the second Friday? I think.
Guess is that one from they had like a party or something. They like had a sneak in. I like barely. But there was a dog there, and then there was the guy who was like, "No more locked doors." That was the part I remember out of everything. I was like, period. No more locked doors.
I want to say I'm like 75% sure that's next Friday. I really hope so. I've seen all 3, but like the only 2 I remember like in detail are the first one and the third one. Like because I've like the first one's one of my favorite movies ever. The third one's a movie I watch every Christmas just because why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, but if it's the one with the dog, I'm pretty sure the dog was in next Friday because that's the one with Pinkies and the dude with the Jerry curl shows up and the essays. I'm pretty sure that's the one. I could be. I hope I'm not wrong. Somebody's gonna correct me. I know somebody's gonna correct me.
But that's cool. Shit.
So before we move on to other questions, I wanted to actually like dig into what you've been reading because we don't talk about books very much on here. And yeah, so what have you been reading?
Oh, nice. Yeah. So literally this morning I was reading. I've been working through this book, The Wretched of the Earth. When
I need my copy, man.
Oh, yes, I highly recommend it. I mean, I've been going through it slowly, but I read it when I'm at work on the clock. I'll be just reading my little book, but it's very intense. But I do appreciate how he like his. I don't know. I know it's translated because I think it was originally written in French, but yeah, just the breakdown is really well done. And I'm like, yo, I'm also reading this along with 100 Years War on Palestine, and reading that with this, I recommend it. If you're somebody who reads several books at the same time, I would recommend these 2 books at the same time because they really I like when books are in conversation with each other because the points connect. And when he's talking about, for example, Algeria, there's so many things in that I'm like, oh, like this connects to what the fuck is going on right now in Palestine. And it's just been very and I was in a state before I picked these books up where I was trying to understand what the fuck was going on. And yeah, it's just been very it's I'm glad to have picked these books up at the time that I did because it's making a lot of shit make sense for my brain and also making how I'm feeling make sense too. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to read The Wretched of the Earth. I just I'm in the middle of reading Asada Shakur's autobiography right now. And
I want to read that as well. It's on my Goodreads. Yes. Okay. Period.
Yo, it's like I'm like, see, like I picked it up and I made it like halfway through the book in like a week, and then I got distracted and it's just been in my backpack. And I'm like, I'm gonna pick it back up. I'm gonna pick like that's the type of person I am. Like I love reading. Like I obviously like I'm a writer. I read a lot. I read a lot.
Excellent
of
writer.
Thank you.
Yes.
But you know, like I'm not as good with book reading as I want to be. Like I have a whole shelf full of books that that I bought that I haven't gotten the chance to get to. I think the last couple books I read Dilla Time, the Dilla book that Dan Charnas wrote, which is like, if anybody somehow hasn't heard about it, go read Dilla Time. Like if you're interested in Jay Dilla, the history of Detroit, like not even just in terms of rap, but in terms of like the city and its infrastructure, and just like it's what an amazing book. Dilla Time is crazy. And then I read Prodigy's autobiography because I love Prodigy, one of my favorite rappers ever. And but like I just have a difficult time. Like I'll just be in a space where I'll read a chunk of it really fast, and then I'll stop for like 2 months, and then I'll pick it back up again and finish. Like I get distracted sometimes, so I'm trying to be better about it. It's tough.
Okay, I am similar because I have attention things. That's why I read several books at the same time, because sometimes I'll be reading like 3 different nonfiction books, and then I'm like, all right, this shit's heavy. Let me go pick up a fiction book, and I'll finish that in like a week, and then I'll have like it's like a palate cleanser in a sense, and then I'll be able to go back to reading slowly through my nonfiction, or I'll read another fiction book or whatever. But yeah, there's some books that have taken me years to finish. Like I'm also interested in like psych, so I'll pick up a psych book and like just slowly go through it. I always read with a pencil in hand so I can mark it. So when I do put it down for a month, I go back, I just flip through some pages, get my point, like, and then I get back into it. I don't fight that shit anymore. Like I don't say I'm a bad reader. I'm just like I go at my own pace. And I'm doing it that way. Yeah, like you just create your own system. So
I respect that. I'm trying to get to the point where I create my own system. I just like like I want to be a more intentional like book reader, and like even just having like a pen or a pencil to like mark it up, because I always have to remind myself too, like this is your book, you can do what you want with it, you don't gotta like you can do whatever like I get really weird about that sometimes, but like I'm hoping this weekend, because I just bought another book last weekend. I bought an Octavia Butler book, one of her one of her science fiction. It was it's called like Bad Seed or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember. But like I read the back and it sounded crazy. It's like it's a part of a series. It's a part of a series she wrote about this, like I think it's about these like 2 African demigods who like one's like a vampire who like sucks the life out of people and just like destroys everything he touches, and the other one is this she uses her powers to heal people and heal the world, and they like fall in love with each other, and they start chasing each other across time. That's what the back said. That sounded crazy to me. So I was like, I'm all in on that. I'm a big science fiction person, so I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Like,
but I definitely want to read some more Octavia E. Butler. I've only read Kindred, I think that's the only book, and that's the only one I have of hers too. So I got to get into it because I know she was out here with the storytelling. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, I'm a finally finish the Asada Shakur book at some point, and like I'm hoping to do that this week. I keep on saying it. I'm actually gonna hold myself to it. Like later tonight, I'm gonna read it. But but yeah, like I just like reading is something I read a lot, but I want to like make sure that I'm like reading stuff that isn't just like articles and journalism. Like read some I want to read some some like nonfiction stuff, some fiction. Anyway,
no.
To it. That's fascinating to me that you were just like, yeah, I'm reading shit, and like it's cool that you're reading those 2 books at the same time. That's amazing. Like and like especially about those 2 things. I mean, like I don't need to say it, but Free Palestine, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, in this book too, he talks about the Congo. Like, listen, he touching on.
I'm ready.
I'm like, period. And all the fucking, it's all making sense. And what really blows my mind is that how much tactics have not changed, but yet rhetoric and how people talk about the things have. And that's where it's like, all right, so how do we? Now I'm like, all right, how do we? But yeah, it's really it's a lot. But I think we're here, so it must be doable to some extent.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like that book's been on my list for years. Like literally, I've been like, I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna read it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I got like four other things I got to tear through first. I actually, now that I think about it, I don't know where my copy of it is, but I found this crazy book about it's supposed to be about the relationship between like early animation, like early Disney stuff, early Looney Tune stuff, and like minstrelsy. I can't remember what the book is
Mm.
called, but like it talks about how those early animations were like based off of stereotypes of black folks. And
Oh,
like
definitely.
I saw the cover and I was like, I need this. Like, what is this? You know, like
Yes.
that's the thing I've owned for like 3-4 years and I haven't touched it yet. So I'm hoping like that I'm I hope that I can trick my brain to be like, if you finish this one, you can go to this one. And then you know, like I just
Like a reward system.
yeah, like a reward system.
Reward
Exactly.
system.
I'm like gamifying it, and that's kind of fucked up, but whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's fucked up at all. That's your system. Gamifying shit is. I saw this. I don't know if it was a tweet, but it was like if you have to get a task done that you don't want to do, or like I don't know, like laundry or cleaning your apartment or whatever, like just pretend you're Sims. You have to do like no. The way I used to love playing Sims, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually might help my brain like feel a little bit more comfy about doing these tasks that feel anxiety inducing. Like it's not that deep actually. So
Yeah, I think you're right, and I didn't play The Sims too much, but I know a lot of people who do. So I have a lot of like backseat secondhand experience with The Sims.
nice.
So, yeah. That's funny as hell. Okay, so let me ask. Let's take it all the way back with you. What's the first movie? I mean, like you already talked about all about the Benjamins, but can you think of any other like what's like one of the first movie experiences you can remember having? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house, like just like the first thing that comes to mind for you.
Oh, Oh, okay. So I would have to say, I think one of the first movies I was like in love with, like, and watched a lot as a kid was Annie. Like I
Oh,
watched that movie so much. Like and honestly, I don't really with me movies, I never can really tell you what it was even that I love so much about the movie, but I mean, I always loved music, and so I think because it had that element, and there was like this kid who I could also like, oh, this is a kid like me doing these things.
mhm.
Um, but then also it was just so dramatic. Like I think at one point in the movie, they're scaling a bridge or something tall, and I'm just like, whoa, I love that scene so much. Just like
Mhm.
random things, but yeah, that was.
So I gotta ask, I'm trying to like which you remember which version of Annie it was? Is it like the Disney one from the 80s?
I don't know if it was Disney, but it was the one. Uh, yeah. I mean, I was about to say the one with the red head and the red dress, but they're all probably like
You know, I was just like, that's Annie you're talking
I
about.
mean, but it had the oh my gosh, the character I remembered the most. It was this actress. She played the woman who was the head of the orphanage, Miss Hannigan, I think was her name.
Oh, is it the one where she was played by Kathy Bates? Because I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Is that the curly head woman? Yes. And I
Yeah,
loved her. I know she was evil,
yeah.
but I just thought that she was so dynamic on screen. I just loved watching her just be evil. I don't know. As a kid, I was like, I hope she don't hurt these children, but like also she's eating. But yeah,
Yo,
I don't know. I was so enamored with her on the screen. Yeah. So
that's
yeah,
so cute.
that was the movie that comes to
I
mind.
I so it's been years since I've seen it. I love Kathy Bates. She's one of my favorite actresses, has been for years.
Mhm.
The one of the other things I remember, like I just it's so crazy. I just watched a YouTube video that kind of like goes through the history of like Annie the character because Annie was a comic. It started out as a comic in like the 20s.
I did not
And
know that.
yeah, like I didn't know that before either. Cause like my okay, back up. My first experience with Annie was like there's the movie A Christmas Story where like the kid like listens to like the Little Orphan Annie radio show, and there's like a scene in the movie where like he's really into the show, and they had a sponsorship with like Ovaltine, the chocolate milk at the time, and he like gets the little like decoder ring, and like it's like, oh, I have a secret message figure out the decoder thing, and he decodes it, and it's just like, be sure to drink your Ovaltine or some dumb shit, you know, like they like turn like it was he was like, oh, it's a fucking rip, it's whatever, but like it turns out that like Little Orphan Annie had like the radio show had spun off from the comic, and I want to say maybe like 30 or 40 years into the comic's lifespan, no, maybe 20 or 30 years, they turned it into the musical. Like, because like there was an original version of the musical, and then there's the one we're talking about, and then there's like the stage production, and like the comic was about like Daddy Warbucks was like a whole Daddy Warbucks had like a whole backstory as like this like capitalist warmonger dude who like his name was Warbucks because he literally like sold like war munitions. Like after the name Warbucks.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah, and like
none of that.
And the guy who wrote the comic, he was like a staunch pro-capitalist person who like there was a period of time like the comic came out when the comic was being published around the time that like FDR became president and like the New Deal happened, and like it was so apparently he was so opposed to him and the New Deal that he killed Daddy Warbucks off and then brought him back to life when FDR left from being president. But the musical Annie is like almost the complete opposite of that philosophically, and it endorses FDR and the New Deal, and like it's like so interesting to me the way the musical is like so different from all the other iterations of Annie that came before it. And then on top of that, there's two characters. I think they're called like Punjab and the Wasp, or like the Asp. There's like a stereotypical Indian dude and an Asian dude. I think they're both also in the movie. And there's a scene in that movie where they're like all in Daddy Warbucks' office or something, and somebody like throws a bomb in there, and like one of the characters just like throws the bomb out the window because it was like it was like I think they were trying to say like some communist tried to bomb I don't know. The Annie is fucking crazy.
Holy, see, I didn't get none of that as a child. I was just like music, colors. I don't know what.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that as a child either. I just learned this recently, and like it was just in my brain. But yeah, of course, like I feel like I'm burying the lead. The first time I saw Annie, my elementary school did like that was their musical for that year, and you know, like they did like Tomorrow and all the songs. Like we everybody knows Annie. I'm not gonna list the songs, but like yeah, like for some reason, like Tomorrow, like I had to have been like 8-9 years old. Tomorrow had me like sobbing when they were like performing it. Like I started crying. Like I was just like oh, they did it, man. Like she made it. Like she like made it with the Warbucks. Like she's not an orphan no more. Like I was so overcome with emotion the first time I saw that shit. And I think about it to this day. But yeah, I mean, like it's Annie, you know, like you can't really go wrong. It's one of those, like, it's a staple. I don't know why they turned it into a musical, but it's like maybe one of the most recognized musicals ever. Like I feel like everyone knows at least one song from that show.
Yeah, Annie.
Yeah, wow. I'm sorry for the crazy detour I just took into.
It's okay. Listen, I like learning new things about things.
You and me both. So as you get older and you start to develop your own tastes and your own palette, was there? I like to think of this as like a capital M movie, like something that kind of connected with you in like an artistic or emotional or spiritual sense, like something that really hit you more than just as like 90 minutes of pure entertainment. Like, do you have one of those?
Oh, a movie? Oof. Huh. I don't think I do. Is that sad?
No.
Like, I mean, okay. I guess as a kid, well, I'm talking a lot about as a kid. As an adult, I wouldn't say that this is my favorite movie now, but for many years, maybe like during middle high school years, this was one of my favorite movies, and it was a Denzel Washington movie.
Which one?
Man on Fire with
Oh,
Dakota Fanning.
I loved Man on Fire. Man on Fire is
That
crazy.
movie changed me. I don't know.
What was it about it that changed you?
I just really, well, I love seeing Denzel Washington in action. Like, I just love seeing him on the screen. But I think really it was just because I felt just that determination that his character had. Of course, he's like here trying to save this little white girl that he's like hired to protect or whatever. All that aside, I just loved how he just like barrels through shit like in the movie. And then at the end, the song that they play, it's like, I think it's called Una Palabra. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's a Cuban artist who sings the song.
Yo, my fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the all-new Real Notes Patreon page real quick. If you're looking for ways to connect and directly support the podcast, the Real Notes Patreon is the best way to do so. For as little as $5 a month, you can gain early day-before access to every forthcoming episode of Real Notes, as well as an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, where you can talk to others about the latest and greatest in movies and music, come through for some listening sessions, and talk about whatever else is on your mind. I know I'm going to be talking a bunch. If you feel like coming up off a little bit more, you could get cool exclusive content, like audio from Real Notes Live and Real Talk interviews. Those will be exclusive to patrons and ticket holders moving forward. Access to retro versions of my 60-second Minute Maid movie reviews, and even a monthly writing and podcasting workshop hosted by me. Regular episodes will still be available on a weekly basis anywhere you get your podcasts, but if you want the extras, you gotta come out them pockets a bit. Check us out at patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES. I appreciate your consideration and support more than you know. Now let's get back to talking.
But anyways, the song that it ends on also just like hit me. It's in Spanish and it just is so it's just such an intimate song. So yeah, the whole movie for me, it just felt very intimate. So yeah. But today, I don't know if I would say that's my favorite movie. I don't think I have one these days.
That's fair. You know, like it's you know, like I think and like even if you don't, like I think Man on Fire is like that's one of my favorite Denzel movies. Like around that time, I think he also put out this other one called Deja Vu that I really loved. It was all I remember about Deja Vu, or what am I saying? All I remember. Deja Vu is like he's a cop. But he's like a cop. He's a cop, and he's looking to find like a killer or somebody who sets something crazy off. And he's a part of this organization that has like a time machine, and he like uses the time machine to go back, I think, a certain amount of days to try to prevent it. Or so like the thing happens, and he gets in the time machine and goes back and tries to prevent the thing from happening. I remember seeing it when it first came out, and I just, but also like he's Denzel Washington. Like I'll watch literally anything Denzel's in.
I know, yeah. I remember when I was in high school, I told my drama teacher, because he asked us who's our favorite actor, and I said Denzel Washington. And this teacher, he crushed me because he was like, Denzel Washington. Like he was like, because I guess because Denzel, maybe Denzel Washington. I'm saying Denzel like I know him. I do not. It's what you would call, this is what my drama teacher said. He said he gets typecasted, and so therefore it's like, but I don't think that negates the fact that he's a wonderful actor and like people literally will pay to see him, and just because he's gonna do a phenomenal job regardless of what the role is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was very like blown that my drama teacher said that. It was like shitting on my favorite actor in the class. Like damn, okay.
And it's kind of crazy because I don't know that I would say Denzel's been typecast. Like he plays all different kinds of people. He's played heroes. He was
even in Macbeth. I seen him in that.
That Macbeth movie that came out a couple years. That shit was tight.
It was.
It was him and the guy who played Dr. Dre and Straight Outta Compton was Macduff, and then they fight at the end. Yeah, that movie's crazy. I like that movie a
Oh,
lot.
I did not know the actor was okay. Thanks for telling me that. Heard.
Yeah,
But yeah, I enjoyed
damn.
it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, we watched. I did a movie night, and we watched Devil in a Blue Dress with Shrapnel.
Yes, I wanted to
A couple
go
weeks back.
to that. I didn't make it. That night
No,
was just like
it's all good. It's all good. I just like, I don't know. There's just like, okay, before we move on, my favorite Denzel, like I think sometimes about what my favorite movie of his might be. You ever see John Q before?
John Q. Wait. Is that with the son?
Yeah, yes,
His
yeah.
son.
His son needs the
Yes, that was
operation, and
another
then,
one of
yeah,
my favorites. Yes, that movie is heartbreaking. My goodness. Whew. Yeah,
yeah,
he was going in on that one.
yeah. I'm just, yeah. He's like, I was talking to my homie about this recently. He's made some bad movies that he's actually also kind of been bad in, but not very many. You know,
Mm.
like don't. It doesn't matter. I love Denzel. I think he's great, but I don't want to
Oh,
linger too
Denzel
much.
slander.
but but let's do the same thing with music for you. When did music become capital M music for you? Like, when did it go from being, or like, was music ever something passive in your life? Like, when did you first, not even in terms of wanting to make it, but like when were you first fascinated by music?
Oh yeah, that one's an easy one to answer. I was first fascinated by music, I think very, very young, like as a maybe I can remember 3 years old, just because it was always around. My mom is a huge music lover. Like, I mean, she can play music all day in the house. My dad is also he sang. So as a kid, I had these like cassettes that he had recorded himself singing when I was in my mom's stomach. So I would listen to that. Or she would
Oh,
play
that's so
for me.
beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. So it was always music was always the thing. Like I guess it's like a stim. It's a stimulating thing. So it's always around. But the first time I was like, oh, like this is bigger than just like listening is when I went to my first show. My mom took me to see Tina Turner. She did a free show in Coney Island. And that was when I was maybe like 5 or 6. But seeing Tina Turner live is when I was like, oh, this is different. Because I always heard the songs but seeing it live it just does something different. Even to this day, when I go to a live show, like I could go to a live show and see bands or artists I've never seen before, but if they give an amazing live performance, I'm never gonna forget it. Like, and I'm gonna go looking for every song I can find. Like, so yeah, it's just something different about live shows. Even performing, I love live music. I love singing live, all that. So yeah, first show was when I was like, oh, music with a capital M, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So no gas. That's very close to how I felt when I saw you perform that night at Not Really's album release thing. Like,
Oh
because I mean, like, people had been like, oh yeah, like Yolanda's gonna kill it, and I'm like, cool, I want to see. And then we met right before, and I was like, oh yeah, you're playing tonight. And then like I saw you play, and I was like, oh, I see what everybody's talking about now. I was like, oh. I was like, where the fuck have I been? Like, I was asleep. Like, you know, like y'all really, really crushed it in a way
yeah.
that I was like, wow, like you just like earned yourself a new fan. And I went and found everything I could and was like, okay, cool. Like this is it. So, you know, like I get it. Like that it's like there really is something, there really like if somebody can perform well, like I could go back and find the music and have it just be okay. But I'd be like that performance, like I'm at least gonna be like, okay, I remember. I don't know, like there's something about a live performance that'll really just like elevate the way anybody looks in my eyes. So
Yeah.
that's just the type of person I am. So I feel you 100%.
Yes. Yay.
So you know, like so you know, like you do all of this, and you grow up, you're just kind of living, you just kind of living life. When did you know that music was going to become more than just a hobby for you? Because I know you went to Smith College, and you were planning on getting into publishing at
I
one
didn't
point.
know
So,
that.
you know, I'm about to go on some Narwhal shit. We have to know you're Yolanda Watson.
You know that.
No. I found the old interview, and you mentioned that in the old.
Oh
interview.
my gosh, I forget. I'm talking to somebody who be doing their research. That's what I peeped when I went to the movie. What do you call it? The real is a real talk,
Real
but
talk?
you do the movie one. The event.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, doesn't do the research. Like the questions you ask. Well, I'm talking about how you know that. Of course, you know that. You research. Okay, but yes. That's so funny. Wait, so can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So yeah, so you know, you go through all of this, you go to college, you say you were gonna get into publishing, that doesn't work out. When did you know that music was gonna become more than just a hobby for you? Like when did you know that like I'm making music, this is my life thing, like I'm a lifer, I'm talking too much. When did you know?
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing the question now. Okay, yes. So yes, after Smith, I came back to New York. I was working a 9-to-5 situation, and I just hated it. Like I hated the structure, and the constant, like it's just this. So I was like, all right. And I think at that time too, because I was back in New York and a lot of my friends knew I was back in New York, I was reconnecting with a lot of my artist friends, and going to shows and like, you know, just getting back into the scene. Because before I left for Smith, I was here at community college. Shout out Kingsburg Community College.
Already.
I was doing a lot of spoken word poetry, like poetry slams and stuff. So I was around different artists and stuff like that. But yeah, so for me, I think the 9-to-5 stuff wasn't really rocking with me, or I wasn't rocking with it. And I was reconnecting with my artist friends again. And I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm a music, because it's always around. It's always in my life. Even when I was at Smith, I was taking vocal lessons. I was in chorus, glee club, a cappella groups. Like I was still doing a lot of music shit. So I'm like, even though I told myself going to Smith that I was going to be studying, I was going to be studious, I was going to be academic and all this, but like music kind of just was sprouting even when I was there. So yeah, coming back and getting back into it was pretty easy. And the decision also was easy because I felt like I had supports because of my friends who were also in the scene. And just, I had the skills. So I was like, let me put them shits to use. So yeah. Yeah, it was very easy.
That's so real. And like there was another section of that interview that I read that made me laugh where I think you had like made a joke about like wanting to like order a ukulele online, and you were talking to somebody and they were just like, do it.
Yes.
Like, okay. Like
yes, my best friend Bree. Yeah, shout out to Pisces. Like a Pisces, literally, they always telling me exactly what to do, and it's always right. Like, yeah, because I had been talking to her, I think, for like some days about the idea, just like, I think a ukulele would be perfect because it's small, it's portable. I could like, it's four strings. I could probably learn that pretty quickly, write some songs, go to open mics. And I was just telling her my entire plan. So for her, I think it was easy for her to tell me like, just do it, because she was like, you know exactly what you want to do. So just start. And sometimes that's really the support you need from the folks around you, is like, they hear you out. They're like, oh, you got it. So just do it. And then, yeah, shout out to Bree, because that was definitely a life-changing moment for real. Getting my uke on me and just starting. So, yeah.
Shout out to the friends who aren't afraid to give you that push you need, whether that might be like towards something you need to do or something you don't need to do. Like, always keep people like that around. So yeah, shout out to Bree.
Yes.
So around what time did you like start really going like was this like what, like late 2010s area?
No, this was in 2018, the end of 2018.
So the late 2010s.
Oh, you're saying 2010s. Okay.
No, Either
That
way.
makes sense because we're in 2024.
It's so no, I get it. It's so weird to think about it like that. But it's like we're at that point. It's like the late 2010s. Like it's
Yo, like what? So real. No, me and Times and Dates, dude. I
feel you.
Yeah. But yes, indeed it was then. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, late 2018, or as you said, late 2010s, would you say? Yeah. Yeah, and then late 2018 is when I started writing songs with my uke, and then in like top of 2019, I started like just going to open mics and stuff, and trying out the songs and getting people's responses to them, and yeah, just did that for a bit, and then started getting booked for shows, and then I was like, okay, I can like really do this for real because it's moving. So yeah, I just kept with it.
What were some of the earliest places that you were playing music? Like what were some of those earliest responses that you were getting to the songs? Like, you know, we could go all the way back to stuff like I mean, like the first song I was able to find of yours is No Cap from 2020. But like but you know, like I'm sure you were out and about and like playing shows even before you put that on DSP. So like talk to me about some of those early shows and what was it like, kind of like, because like another thing you mentioned in other places is, you know, you wanted to come at this from like the most honest and vulnerable place you could and just kind of like give all of yourself to a song. So like, you know, like there's a difference, like we were talking about before, there's a difference between doing that in a booth or like to a microphone by yourself with maybe an engineer or sometimes not even that, and then like being on an open mic stage and like playing it to people. Like talk to me about kind of navigating that dichotomy.
Yeah. It was really interesting, I would say, because the songs, so all of the songs, except for the last one on Soda, those were the songs that I wrote with my uke. In 2018, Sad Bitch was the very first song I ever wrote. So No Cap came about much later. Not much.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So 2018, Sad Bitch. And I wrote that, it was just open string on uke. So very bare bones, just me, the mic, the uke, and the folks. And I was really pleasantly surprised by folks' responses to that song. Because it was so bare bones and I'm just like saying things very plainly, but lots of people were feeling similarly. Like that was the response I got a lot. People coming up to me after open mics and saying like how what I was saying in the song resonated with them. And I was like, oh, really? Like you're having these thoughts? Like, you know, so that was really cool. And just the conversations that came up after that, just talking about things like mental health, depression, and just, so yeah, it was cool. But some of the places I started, man, I don't know. I think at that time I was just going by word of mouth, like friends telling me, oh, there's this open mic over here and this over here. And then the first show I ever got booked for was a woman named Bex booked me. And this was over in Flatbush. She had a space. It was On the Mic with Bex. And that was the first like official show I ever did. I got paid for that. Shout out Bex, because she be paying artists for fucking shows. And that to me was like, whoa, I'm getting paid to do this, like one of the songs. So yeah, and then from there it just like kept going, and I just kept writing, and then I would collaborate. So No Cap, I collabed with Danny, who's also he still plays with me to this day, guitarist. I think you might have met Danny at the show. Yeah,
I don't think we met, but I saw him do, yeah, like the two of y'all together. Great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny.
Yeah.
We haven't met, but
Shout out Danny, because he meeting him, because he produces and also is an amazing instrumentalist, like plays all sorts of different instruments. Definitely opened me up to a lot. Like he even was the person who told me to like, yo, like check out Ableton, you can record and like even produce your own beats. So I started doing that, just fucking around. But yeah, just started with uke and then doing things.
So, you know, like so you know, like you do all of this, you start getting responses from people, you're starting to, you know, like build a little confidence and build up a little more experience. You know, like before before we get to soda, I want to touch on pineapple, which like we mentioned earlier, like just crossed 2,000 streams on Spotify, which is like that's you know like that's not nothing, like especially
Yeah.
considering that you have like one project to your name and you're really starting to like etch this out. Like
Yeah.
that's a really cool thing to have happen. So like talk to me about putting pineapple together, and like because I mean like the song is at least 2 years old. So
Mhm.
like how did you feel about it while you were making the song, when you were making the song, and how do you feel about it now, 2 years removed, and you know a couple thousand joints later?
Yeah. So honestly, Danny and I's dynamic. So Danny produced that track, and how we work is like we'll come together. He'll play some sounds and be like, "Yo, like what do you vibe with?" And then we'll build from there. So that's how Pineapple came about. And then once he was done with the beat, sent it to me, and I wrote and sang on it or whatever. Um, and you know, I thought it was just like, oh, we're fucking around. Like I'm trying to exercise my pen, see what I could say, whatever on beats. I personally am not surprised because it is a nice song and I understand why people fuck with it. But yeah, I think my relation to it now is very different because it feels more serious now for some reason. Because not for some reason, I think it's because more people have heard it. um it feels more serious and I think about it more seriously. Like I caught myself the other day reading the lyrics and being like, what am I really saying with this? So like, what was I saying? Like, I don't know. So it's a little weird now for sure, but I'm really glad that people um are vibing with it, because I mean that's why I put it out, so people can have it like and do what they will with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I think a big part of the reason why people connect with it, like I mean like you're definitely like saying some shit here. Like this is just like you've given all of yourself to somebody, and you're kind of you're just like you've given all yourself to somebody, and this is somebody who's like in and out of your life and not really committing in a way that you like that's like ultra fucking relatable shit, you
Mm,
know, like feeling like you're giving more to somebody than you're giving more to anything really, like in this case it's a
mm,
person, but like just
yeah.
giving some just giving more than you're getting back in any situation, like that's some real shit. Like people go through that all the time, and I think that's and you know like I'm always fascinated with like stuff that's, I wouldn't call this a sad song, but it's
Mhm.
certainly not like a happy, like you know you're not writing it from like a happy place, but
Yeah,
like
I
but you
know.
know like the song, but like the song itself is so like bright, and like it's on the verge of like being bubbly. Like I love the like the contrast between stuff that's not necessarily happy playing with music that sounds like, it sounds like, this is gonna sound so dumb. The song sounds like pineapple juice. Like it kind of has it kind of has that like tangy, smooth sweetness to it, like the way it sounds. And you're
Yeah,
just over here like, man, like why am I giving myself to this person who doesn't really give a shit? But you know, like it's like
yeah,
I just love that contrast so much, and like that makes like, you know, like this is a love song basically, but like it makes that dynamic makes any song interesting, but especially a love song, because
mhm,
it really plays into that, like it plays into that like I'm over the moon and like really attached to whatever the situation is, but also like, do I need to be here because I'm not being treated right? You know, like
mm.
and like I think that's part. I think that must be part of the reason why people are so attached to this. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. I just think that's
No,
dope.
you're making a lot of sense. The ramble makes sense. And I think, yes, that would definitely explain it. I'd say yes.
Yeah, it's just like cool for you to be at this point and have a song of yours like really sink its teeth into people. Like you know like in like 2000 is 2000, like it's 2000 people is 2000 people in both like a small and a large sense. like, you know, like it's not a million plays, but like 2,000 people is a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like I don't, you know, like, can you imagine being around 2,000 people? Like, you know, like that's a lot of people.
It is. No, it definitely is. And it's interesting to see where the song is doing well, because on the Spotify artist thing, you can see like where people are listening to it. And it's a lot of folks in Europe, like that's who's listening to it a lot. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know really how it got over there, because I, for one, have not spent much time over there. So but that's the cool thing, like music just travels, it goes places you ain't never been. Like some people listening to it in Brazil. I've never been to Brazil. So
Right.
it's very cool.
That, yeah, no, that's really, really cool. Yeah, like it's just great to see it travel. And like,
Yeah.
you know, like talk to me about putting Soda together, like having that be like your first proper project. And like, you know, like it's really interesting, like you said, just like I had no idea that so many of those songs were like years old before they were recorded and came out. So like, talk
Yeah.
to me about putting Soda together.
So Soda came to be, so I wrote those songs and I just kind of had them. I would perform them, but I was not recording them. And I wasn't sure why. I just knew like, nah, I think I need to save these like for when I have musicians who can like help me fill it up. Because remember, like I only composed it with uke. So, and it was just open chord, one chord type vibe. So I really wanted to have a whole band back it. And then I got hit up, just I guess just from doing shows and posting on Instagram and stuff. I got hit up by this recording studio out in Massachusetts, called Plaid Dog. And they hit me up and was like if I was interested in coming to record a project. And they had this whole crowdfunding campaign thing that they did to help artists fund the project so that you could go and record it. So that was the process for that. And they also like had musicians at the studio that I worked with to compose the songs and get it all done. It was a really cool process. And it was also nice to like do the crowdfunding for it and see just how many people really wanted the songs, like, because they've seen me perform them for a couple years now. And they're like, oh, you're going to record the songs that we've been hearing? Yes. And so people were very generous. And I was like, y'all really fuck with me, because we raised like over $10,000 to get that for good project.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's
shit,
like all kudos to the folks that follow me on social media, who've known me for years. I'm talking maybe high school, like throughout my entire life. People from all parts of my life came together to make that happen. So yeah, Soda even being a thing is like really thanks to everybody that knows me and who I love and love me. So
that's gorgeous, because like, you know, like, you know, like having that be like having Soda be like be like mostly this compilation of like old songs that you've been performing for a couple years, and then having people believe in you enough to like go and record those and put them out, like that's so special. And yeah, like that's just really, really special. And like these are like I love how, like, even just re-listening to Soda last night, I kind of like, I don't like doing comparisons, but I kind of found myself jumping between like, this sounds like, it sounds like 8 different things to me, but not in a way where it's like derivative of those 8 things. It's just like there was a period of time, I'm gonna expose myself. There is a period of time in my life where I really liked Jack Johnson. It was around the time that the Curious George movie came out and he did the soundtrack.
listen,
Like, you know, like
that's something, because listen to me, you're hitting it on the nose. I hope you know.
like there's like that was the first, you know, like I listened to like Onomatopoeia, and that sounds like I really feel the influence of like Jack Johnson in that. But like, once again, like not in a way where it's like, oh, you just made a Jack Johnson song. Like it very much sounds like like it's the type of thing that it really just feels like I don't know how to put it. There's some like there's something that's kind, it's like that. an all ages type of appeal to it. Like it's not like you're not making music for children, but it's the type of thing that you could play around like anybody of any age and they would get something from it, you know? And like making music like that is not easy to do. Like like it's like a difference between making stuff like that and making stuff for like a kid's album that's like, let's learn the ABC, you know, like it's not that.
Yes.
But it kind of has this, you know, like it's like really pleasant. It's like super mellow, you know, like you know, like your melodies and lyrics are like really snappy and fun and like easy to tap into. Like you're like rapping a tiny bit. Like there's like some rap cadence in there, a tiny bit, and like that's the thing that really got me about seeing you live, because you kind of had this mix of like those types of songs. Like you played like the version of Sad Bitch you did live. I was like that was the first song where I was like, holy shit, like what is this, you know? And then like and then you would like mix that in with like some rap covers. Like you covered Vince's Are You With That? And that was really fun. I love that. And like just, you know, like just like the way you mix all these different sounds together in a way that's not like, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like you're trying to do too much. Like you really just kind of found yourself in all these different sounds, and having Soda be this like little 5-track sampler of like, you know, this is me. And like, then on top of that, having you know, like you going from like the live stuff to recording it, and to like so many people's first experience with you being like, oh, I saw Yolanda live, let me go find all the stuff, you know, like that isn't always the case. And it's really cool that that's kind of happening for you on this small scale. So it's like you're almost like you're like, it's almost like beta testing, you know, like it's which is really cool. But like not in like a Kanye Donda kind of way, like in like a way where it feels like good, you know, like, so I just threw a lot at you. I'm sorry.
Please don't apologize. That was great. But yes, okay, so I will say this in regards to Soda and those songs. So yes, I wanted, because I had this goal of like writing songs in an honest, vulnerable way. I found when I began that I had to get real basic. It could have also been because I was using uke and it was open string. But what that made me think of is my childhood and the music and shows that I watched. I was a PBS kid. Like I watched Elmo. I loved Barney. Like Barney was my heart and soul. I would just watch all the Barney. I had the tapes and all that. And so that I always loved the music in the shows, because I thought that it just, and even if there's like videos that show there, I don't know what this kid's show is now, but it has a little tune. And anytime like a baby hears it, who is familiar with it, they just light up, they perk up, they turn their head towards the sound. I like that quality of that is possible to create with music. And I think children's music, or like kids music and kids shows, do it well because they use very particular sounds and notes and simple things to kind of open that door. And it's kind of low key. It seems like a way of conditioning, but anyways,
it definitely is a way of conditioning.
It's like, oh, they're getting them little ones, but it's pleasant. It relaxes them. It calms them, makes them, I guess, like happy. So I definitely wanted to capture that, because I was then going to write about some stuff that wasn't so much that. And so I do like contrast a lot. I like putting things together that probably wouldn't go together otherwise if I didn't make it so.
Facts.
That's fun
so,
for me.
Yeah, no, it's fun for me as a listener too, just trying to like pick out it just makes it fun to dig through. And like, because I'm curious and I know you draw from so many different like genres and just like moods, you know, like we're over here talking about like we've already name checked Tina Turner, Jack Johnson, and Vince Staples. Like that's kind of crazy. So like so like who else has influenced you as a musician? I never asked this question because it feels kind of like cliche, but I think in this case, I'm very interested to find out like who influenced you as a musician.
Yeah, so it was a lot of vocalists, I would say, mainly that influenced me because growing up, I did this thing, and I still to this day, just to get better at like communicating and talking, speaking, and engaging. But as a kid with music, how I even learned to sing, and I would just copy. Like I'm really good at doing voices. Like one day I want to get into voice acting because like it's just so fun, and I'm good at it because I've been doing it since I was a kid. But one of the first musicians I would say that I was like out here trying to like get into the vibe of would be Usher. Like I was obsessed with Usher. Like I just thought that he was just so talented. I mean, he is very, very fucking talented. Great singer and all that, performer. And then there was also Whitney Houston, who I wanted to work so badly with Whitney Houston. When I tell you, another movie, Cinderella with Brandy, Whitney Houston. Oh, I watched that so much.
Classic. I had the tape. Yeah, I love that movie.
Me too. And I just loved
it.
it. And I was like, oh, this woman, I wish I could work with her. But so she was definitely another vocalist that I like watched and listened to. Then I guess as I got older, when I was in college doing vocal lessons and stuff, that it shifted a little bit. I got more into like jazz, a vocalist. So like Sarah Vaughan was somebody that I was really studying her vocals. Listen to some Bessie Smith. It was so many different vocalists, and also like I listen to all sorts of different genres. Like I'm also I'm interested in rock, country, because of I think country music, the writing. I take a lot of influence from that. I would say the storytelling abilities that I think country does is just like ridiculous. And in regards to rock, there's a lot of cool composition stuff that happens. Who else? I don't know. There's just so many. I listen to so much music. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, you mentioned Jack Johnson earlier. I'm not gonna lie, that Curious George album. I love it so much. I love that movie too. I love Curious George as well. I have a tattoo of Curious George. There's so much.
Oh, cute. I love that.
Yeah, I do not play by Curious George. So yeah, I mean, just all the peeps. I don't know. There's many.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, like I think that you know, like I think that speaks to the appeal of what you're doing and how like it's really like once again I'm just like really stuck on you kind of doing all the like because like well I don't want to speak for most people, but it's just not every day that you hear people like coming out with songs live and doing them in front of people before they record them. So I'm just like really fascinated by people kind of, you know, being attracted to all the stuff that you've just put into this work. I don't know, like it's just really cool to me that you've managed to like, you know, you've managed to like make a name and people are like checking for you on stuff like I don't know. It's just great. I like I feel like I had like a greater point I wanted to make there, but I just love how all of that comes together in a way that feels really unique to you. And I can't, you know, like I don't like it's been a while since I've heard anything that sounds like Soda, and I'm really excited to, you know, like you know, like going from there to like something like Caca, which is like the tape we just put out within the last couple of weeks, like which is like also a ton of fun. And like and yeah, like before I ask my last question and formally wrap this, like I want to know about. I mean, like I know you're working on new stuff, and that you know like, we can expect some cool shit coming down the pipe. But like, talk to me about making Caca, and you know, like you're like 2 years removed from Soda at this point. Like you're still performing, obviously, but like you know, like since you've made Caca, what do you feel? How do you feel you've like grown and changed as an artist? And like you know, like what was you know like what was different about making Caca from making something like the stuff you did for Soda?
I think so with making Caca, I feel like I had a very specific, not for the song per se, but I had a different approach. like I didn't have the same thing of like, oh, I want to be honest and vulnerable and blah blah blah, which those things are absolutely important to the process. But I think at this point, those things are just a part of the core. I don't really have to think about it. It's just part of the process. But with Caca, my focus has shifted to collaborative work because Soda was in writing those songs was I did that shit by myself in my room with my ukulele, and then I took it to the stages or whatever and shared. But the writing process was solo, like completely. And that's all cool and great and everything. But I actually really love, now that I've sharpened my skills and tools, like I really love collaborative work. So with Caca, I got to collab with a producer that I've been wanting to work with for a really long time, Cos Burgundy. Shout out to him. Really glad he was like down to do it. And it was a similar process, like that, how I work with Danny. I was just like, yeah, let's fuck around with some sounds and see like what we come up with, and then we'll go from there. And I just wanted to like mess around, see what would come out. And I also started working with freestyling a little bit because I got to do some vocal work with Armand Hammer. I don't know if you've heard the Tester.
I haven't, but congratulations. Shout out to, wow, crazy. Wow.
So the vocal work for that project, and I tell people this, I'm like, yeah, like vocalists, sometimes we do have to freestyle as well, because sometimes it is what is wanted for the project. So for that project, it was that in a sense. We went to the studio, we had a sense of what the songs were, but they wanted us to go in and like, yeah, vocalize and see where we could fit in the track. And for me, before going into the studio, I typically have everything planned out. I know exactly how I'm going to sing, what song I'm going to, like everything is planned out. So this was out of my comfort zone. But the uncomfortability I felt in doing it, it was an amazing experience and it turned out awesome. But I definitely noted uncomfortability because I'm not used to like doing stuff in that way. But once I felt the results, saw it and was like, nah, that was cool. I just need to like sharpen that. I just started listening to a lot of instrumentals and just freestyling at home. So Caca was more so that kind of approach and not so much I'm gonna like write the most. Like I was just kind of saying whatever was coming to my mind, but it's still meaning with it. And then yeah, I also wanted to put Caca out because a lot of the features and collaborations that I've been doing, I've been in the underground scene more now, so my sound has changed tremendously, which I'm open to and I'm happy for, because yeah, I'm speaking on tracks in a way that I never thought that I would be doing vocal shit that I didn't think that I would feel comfortable doing. So yeah, I hope that people hear Caca and are ready for the things to come, because it's going to be more along those lines and not so much along the Soda lines. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's great. Like even just like listening, you know, like there's like a section. I'm like the whole song is just you just kind of being like, I don't need all these materialistic things to be cool. Like I'm just like the part that really caught me is like I'm just trying to take my chances. I'm just trying to do my dances in the back room with my friends. Mind blown to the wind. We ain't got you know. It's like stuff like I don't know. Like that's like
Yeah.
I mean you know like I feel like most people aren't really above like we like fancy things. Like I just bought myself a $500 jacket for no reason. Like you know, like
really?
Yeah, like I've never really I've like never really been in or no, I lied. No, I lied. It wasn't that expensive. I bought something else and it wound up being that expensive. But anyway, like but we don't need those things to be us. You know, like you know, like we don't need that to be a person, to like be somebody of worth. Like you can just like kick it with your people and just confide in you. Like I don't know, there was just something really nice about that message and the way that y'all put the song together, and it's just like really like bouncy and you know, like it is very different from the Soda stuff because it's not really like, you know, like you're definitely moving towards something that's a little more I guess the word I'd use is like holistic in terms of like its sound, and like there's like there's definitely a difference between a song like Caca and a song like Onomatopoeia. Like
Mhm.
those like, you know, like I can see the steps between them. Like I can see that you're kind of like experimenting and moving into new
Mhm.
things. And I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea that you were working with Arm& Hammer, but that's like really fucking cool. Like that,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no,
Wait, have you
just
listened to that project? The test
which
strips?
one?
Test strips?
Oh, you were on Diabetic test strips? Oh
Yeah.
shit.
As
Okay, so
vocalist, not like as a feature or anything, but
right.
yeah, vocal.
So okay, there we go. So I had no idea that you were on Diabetic test strips. Which song?
I'll send them to you because it's not in my brain right now, but I'll send them to
Okay,
you after this. Oh, what songs
okay,
were there? Oh
wow.
my goodness.
See,
It was like
I had
three.
which one?
I think there was like 3 songs too. There's like three
So
songs.
I had no idea you did any work on Diabetic test
Oh,
strips.
so you about to be really surprised with
Yeah,
what's to come. I'm excited.
hell yeah.
Oh, and also shout out Willie Green, who fucking engineered, mixed and mastered Caca. Like working with Willie Green.
Oh, word.
I love
Wow,
working with Willie Green.
that's God body right there. Shout out
Yeah.
to Green,
Oh my
man.
gosh, he's fabulous. And like shout out to him because there were so many little things about that song that I was like, could you just and he fucking was like, okay, got you. So I really appreciate that. There's been so many things.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's fire. So
yeah.
I've wow, man, sorry. Like I'm just so like, I swear to God, I had no idea about any of that.
Oh, okay.
That's
I'm
so crazy.
actually glad because I'm like, okay, let's researcher. I got you a little bit. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I love, you know, like I love being surprised, and I really just wanted to emphasize like I came here for you, and I had no idea about any of that other shit. Like,
Oh, I love it.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
like
no, I
yeah, like
appreciate
that's
that. Yeah,
of
we are
course.
good.
Yeah, no, you already like yeah, I mean, like, since we're on the subject, I've had the
Mhm.
pleasure of being in the studio with Green and Woods when I wrote that Backwoods piece for Pitchfork. Like
Nice.
I got to
Oh,
go to the
that piece
greenhouse,
is
and
so fabulous, dude. Oh
thank you.
my gosh. I love yo.
Thank you.
Period.
Honestly, thank you. Like that was such an experience, and like, you know, like Woods and the whole Backwoods family have been so, they've been so gracious to me. Like for years, like, you know, like
Yeah.
I've known Woods for years, and
Yeah.
like, you know, like they were gracious enough to like let me come to the greenhouse, and like I got to watch him. I got to watch Woods record a verse, and just like got to sit with Green. He was mixing Fielded's album at the time, so I got to
Nice.
like I got to watch him sit with the song for like 45 minutes and just like tweak it, and just I don't
Nice.
know, like the thing that got me about the way Green works is that he's gonna mix stuff and play it out of every possible kind of speaker. Like he's gonna play it out of like the nicest like triple bass fucking like big box goddamn like speaker. He's gonna play it out of like a tinny little radio thing. And like he's the type of person who wants to make sure it sounds good no matter what thing is playing out of, whether it's like the fanciest final hookup or like a laptop speaker. You know, like he's very thorough that way.
No,
And you
truly.
know, like that's like, that was like really, I was taking notes, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that's really inspiring to me. And just like the
Yeah.
way, and you know, and like the way that him and Woods work is like they're like very kind of like you were saying, like they're very like you, they go in, like they know exactly what they want to do, they get
Uh-huh.
it done, like make it sound like this, put that effect on it, record, boom, done. You
Yeah.
know, so like
I rock with them.
right.
It's
And
been
it's
so smooth, like because I mean, ever since the Armand Hammer vocal work, I've been connecting with I don't know if they I don't even know if I would, but Curly
you don't have to
Castro, Strap
oh,
Aluminum, like
cool.
everybody at Backwoods who I've connected with have been they're just all so about the music and about creating space for artists to be artists and do the things. And I really appreciate that because I feel like since I started making music, I've been looking for people and spaces and you know, you find spaces and you find people, but not everything is solid. I feel like Backwoods it's been around for so long. Like they started a long time ago. So it's just, it feels very solid, and everything they're doing, I'm just like, I fucks with that. And the sounds are great. So yeah, it's been nice.
I love that. But yeah, I mean, like, but like that doesn't happen without all the stuff you've done before. You know, like that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen without soda. That doesn't happen
Indeed.
without like no cap and all that stuff. And like, you know,
Yes,
like
which is why I'm so glad I've been able to do it with the help of everybody who fucking supports me and fucks with the music. So yeah, it's
people wouldn't be supporting what you do if it wasn't dope. So like, just like, you know, like, yeah. I mean, like, you know that already. You don't need me to tell you that, but like that's you're making good shit, and I'm really happy to be talking to you about the good shit. And before, so I got one more. So like, I know you mentioned across socials a couple days ago that you just turned down taking up a third job because you wanted to really focus on music. Like that's a big step, and it required a lot of bravery. You know, like the money will come, whatever. But like, you know, like it needs to be said that that's a really crazy thing to say and do, and like really just like invest. You know, like you're investing in yourself. Like there have been you know, like there have been like a handful of times where I've, you know, like before I got the job I have now that I can't talk about yet, but soon, I promise. On camera anyway. I'll tell you about it later. But
awesome.
You know, like there have been times where I've been like, man, I gotta go get another job or else I'm not gonna be able to make this work. But things have worked out. I've been lucky and fortunate, and but anyway, I feel you 100%. It just makes me happy that you did that. How does it feel to be in a position where you're really investing and betting on yourself and deciding, like, you know, like you obviously make music and want to make music, but like this is like, I'm investing in this, fuck a third job, you know, like that's
It feels really good because it took me a few days of mulling it over, because once I figured out that like how much time and energy like I've worked 3 jobs here in New York City before, and I was shot. Like I didn't really have anything to give to anything else. And right now it just feels really vital to be putting energy towards my loved ones. Because just spending time with them, I'm like, okay, yeah, we need this. Like we all need this. We need to be together. We need to be having these conversations. And then music, there's a lot happening right now. And I'm like, with Caca just dropped, the video is coming, and working on that video has taken time and energy. It's coming along beautifully. Shout out my team. They're killing it. But yeah, it feels really great because I know the money will come. Money is everywhere. It will come. I just have to make sure that I have what I need to do the things. And that is coming from me before anything else, not so much the money is what I'm realizing, because I'm the one who has the skills to do things. So yeah, it feels good. I think it was the best decision. Am I terrified? Absolutely. But I'm sure that this is the right thing. Like you're gonna be scared, but it's still the right thing. It's okay.
Yeah, you know, you're gonna push through it if you believe in it enough, and you've built it, and they're coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's where we're at. You've built it, and they're coming to you now.
Indeed. So like, yeah.
Damn.
It's gonna be great.
I love it. It is gonna be great. You know, like the future's looking really bright. And I've learned so much already today that I didn't know before, and you know, like, I'm just like it's all coming, bro. But to formally wrap this, Yolanda, if this might be a difficult question to answer, but if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Ooh. I hate that this came to my mind, but it would be about the struggle. But not obviously there's a lot of things that come with the struggle, but Because truly, I feel like even with music, with anything that I'm doing, especially creatively, like it needs to always connect back to um to not necessarily who I am, but like everything I come from, like the people, the places, like it needs to connect back to that. And the truth is that I come from folks who are in the struggle, like living it every day. And also I come from a place where like, you know, folks are poor. So when I say the struggle, I'm talking about class, I'm talking about all of that. And so I don't know. Yeah, the movie would probably be about that in many ways, but also about connectivity and love in people. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can imagine your movie being very slice of life, you know, just like very like, you know, like all that that entails. Like, you know, the slice of life has a lot of happy, a lot of sad, a lot of
Yeah.
struggle, a lot of ease, a lot of love, a lot of just very strong emotions, you know. And
Yeah.
I can see that being there. So yeah, I love that. That's good. That's good.
That was a tough question.
Yeah, no, it's like I love asking it because like everyone's version of what that means is always different. Like some people will like compare their life to a movie. Some people will like try to make it into a like I keep it open ended because I like to see what people come with. There's like no right or wrong answer to that question, obviously. But
Yeah,
Yolanda, thank you so much.
absolutely.
This was so illuminating and
Mhm.
like I love your music and it's just been great to connect and build and yeah, I just can't wait to see what you got coming next. And I just once again, like as somebody who's not really a movie person, who's not really a podcast person, I appreciate you coming on my movie and music podcast. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you for inviting me.
Nah, it's like honestly my pleasure. It's been great. Like your future is so bright and like people won't be asleep for much longer, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.